Hi everybody, Jake here for FMSCOUT, and in today's video we'll be looking at the hardest saves that you can do in FM23. Some of these teams have transfer embargoes, others have very strict board restrictions, and some are very unique to that club and you probably won't find it anywhere else in FM23. If you know of any hard saves that we don't mention in this video though, put them in the comments so that everyone who watches this can find even more ideas down there. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoy, subscribe for more, and let's get into team number one. And we begin with Reading. Now our first clubs are all going to be the transfer embargo clubs, but make sure you stick around for some of the ones near the end because they have some crazy rules. But Reading are a club with plenty of success throughout their history. Founded in 1871, they've managed to win plenty of league titles in the lower divisions of English football, but yet to win a Premier League, yet to have any kind of European success or an FA Cup or even a League Cup. So they've got plenty of room still to get better and to earn trophies that they've never got before. They've got good facilities, a 24,000 capacity stadium. However, their finances are in the mud and they are under transfer embargo, meaning you can't make any signings for a little while. Your job as Reading boss will be to try and keep Reading in the Championship while navigating those transfer restrictions, and eventually once they're lifted, try and take them not just to the Premier League but hopefully to be Premier League winners and maybe even get some European success as well. Two teams that will be a lot easier to manage though are two of the biggest sides in Saudi Arabia. We have Al Hilal, who have won plenty of trophies in their history, as you can see below, and Al Ittihad, another team that have had a high level of success. So why is this a hard save? Well, both clubs are under transfer embargo when you start your save in FM23, and your job will be one to navigate that, which should be quite easy because they've already got some of the better squads in the league. They're also very financially strong, so it shouldn't be too difficult in that sense, but your job with them will be to try and win the Club World Cup. Every continent, whether it be South America, Asia, Europe, all have their own Champions League variant. In Asia, it's the AFC Champions League, and winning this will grant you access to the Club World Cup. There you'll play against some of the biggest sides in world football, including European teams. To take an Asian team to Club World Cup glory will not be easy, particularly when under transfer embargo, but maybe one of you guys could make that happen. And you'll have to do a similar job with a Chinese club that's also under transfer embargo, which is Shanghai Shenhua, one of the biggest clubs in China. Founded in 1993, they do have a few trophies in their history and a pretty nice financial situation, but again, they are under transfer embargo for the first parts of your FM23 saves. But there's a bit of a twist with this one. Not only do you need to try and win the Club World Cup as you would try to do with the Saudi Arabian teams that we mentioned earlier, but then can you build up the rankings of the Chinese divisions, produce loads of good Chinese youngsters, and bring China to World Cup glory. If you want to end it at the Club World Cup win, then great, but if you want to push on even further, it will be a very long and hard save, but hopefully one that will be very rewarding, and unlike many experiences that you've had before on FM. On to our final few teams who have the transfer embargo issue. Remember, there are some very complicated saves coming up, but we are looking at Tondela in the second division of Portugal. Now, their financial situation is certainly not as strong as some of the clubs we looked at earlier, also under transfer embargo. Can you not only get promoted into the top division of Portugal eventually, but then overtake the dominance that's been held in that division? In Portugal, there's only been a certain few clubs getting success over the last few years, so can you try and topple them and bring Tondela to be a household name across all of world football? We now go to Turkey, where there's a few clubs that I want to point out that will have a transfer embargo, and financially these clubs aren't doing great, all of which are at different levels of the football pyramid out in Turkey. In the third division of Turkey, we've got Bursaspor, a team that have actually won the highest honours in Turkish league football already. They now find themselves a far cry away from the top division with a negative £1 balance and a long way to go. It's a similar situation for Yeni Malatya Spor Kulübü. Big apologies if I'm getting these pronunciations wrong. They're a team with a 27,000 capacity stadium, finding themselves in the second division of Turkey with again a negative £1 balance and under transfer embargo. And we also have top division side Kayserispor, once again with negative £1 balance and under transfer embargo. Now your job with all of these clubs will be to first bring them up to be the biggest side in Turkey, and then to try and win the Champions League. A lot of these clubs are in horrible financial situations and need a lot of help, so that'll be your job to try and fix. Altınordu have been a fan favourite of the last few years because they have the Bilbao kind of rules where you can only sign players from a certain region. This second division side though will only sign players from Turkey, so it's fantastic for a build a nation save where you will take over as this club, only sign Turkish players, preferably Turkish youngsters, as you try to go up the Turkish divisions, then try and make Turkey a dominant force in world football by winning the Champions League. And if you can go even further with all of those young Turkish players that you keep buying, you'll develop tons of talent that will hopefully drive the Turkish national team to some kind of international glory. It'll be great fun and one that I think a lot of you would very much enjoy. Now, before we reveal my favourite save on the list, I'd like to let you guys know I do have my own channel linked in the description where we have a Leicester save going on currently. I'm also planning to release a one-off rebuild video in the next coming days, so if you're excited for that kind of thing, head over to the channel, hit subscribe, show your support. I would massively appreciate it. But my favourite save of a bunch, and I think one of the hardest saves I've seen on FM23, is FC Vaduz. Now you might be thinking, Jake, why is this such a hard save? It's a club in the Swiss divisions. Well, I'm going to give you a few layers to as why this is such a challenging save. Firstly, Vaduz isn't technically a Swiss side, but instead it's a team from Liechtenstein who find themselves in the Swiss divisions, in the second division, I believe. Now you could follow some of the things we've mentioned earlier about trying to build a nation through Liechtenstein youngsters, take over the Swiss divisions, and that will be great. But the issue is, if you win the Swiss division with FC Vaduz, they do not get any kind of qualification to European tournaments. I'm not sure on the exact intricacies of the rules, but I believe it's something to do with Vaduz not actually being a part of the Swiss FA, and for that reason they cannot take European spots from other clubs in the league. They can, however, earn qualification to the Europa Conference League through a cup competition. They're in this with other Liechtenstein clubs, and assuming that you win that, you'll be granted access to the Conference League, but nothing of any higher note. You won't be able to grant access to the Europa League and the Champions League. The only way you can do that is to actually win the Conference League, at which point you'll gain access to the Europa League. Now, the aim of this save is actually to win the Champions League with FC Vaduz, and if you haven't guessed already, what that means you need to do is qualify for the Conference League through the Cup, then win the Conference League. That will gain you access to the Europa League, which you then need to win to get access to the Champions League. But getting to the Champions League isn't enough. You then need to go all the way through and actually win the UCL. Now, obviously, when you get knocked out and you lose, you get set back to the Europa Conference League, providing you have won the Cup competition, and you're just going to have to go again and again. So you've got to win 3 European trophies back to back with FC Vaduz. It's going to be a super hard save, take a long time to do, but to anyone who does it, let us know, because that would be a fantastic challenge and one that I want to get involved with myself if possible, and I think it would be absolutely fantastic to try and do. So there's 10 of the hardest saves that you can do in FM23, but if you have more, and I'm sure you guys will, there's so many different teams in FM, then let us know in the comments down below. I've spoke before about saves where you try and build San Marino into a World Cup nation. There's loads that you can do, so let me know your ideas in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you did enjoy. Check out my channel linked in the description. But most of all, have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.